This story is a journey of young boy, Pratik, who was ill-treated by his family because he was different. He finds solace in his mother's sister who helps him become the woman he really was. Award function. Pallavi looked at the wall clock and it was showing 6:10 p.m. She told herself, Pallavi, you don't have much time. So finish getting ready in about 45 minutes so that you are ready when Yogesh arrives at 7. She had put up a green color sari with matching sleeveless blouse, pearl necklace, bangles and big dangling earrings and piles to suit the occasion. She applied makeup and combed her long hair and kept it a little loose. Yogesh likes her hair this way. She glanced at mirror to see if anything remains to be done. She beamed with satisfaction and went to the kitchen to drink water. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Pallavi walked up to the door to open. Yogesh as usual was cheerful. He took Pallavi in his arms and gave her a forceful hug. After some time, she withdrew herself from his embrace and moved to kitchen asking him if he wants water. He said, can you prepare quickly strong coffee? In the meantime I will get ready. She prepared the coffee for Yogesh very quickly, and they both left the house. They reached hall in time when the award function was about to start. This was going to be a big night for Pallavi. Tonight, she hoped to spread her message to the world. She was anxious, but she had no other choice except to wait patiently as the function proceeded. After about a dozen announcements, Pallavi's name was announced. Pallavi waited patiently for the award function to proceed. The announcer said, Pallavi gets the Best Woman of Year under a special category. We are felicitating Pallavi in recognition of her services through her activities of last 10 years that has immensely helped special women to live life of dignity and respect. Pallavi is a trans woman, meaning she changed her sex from male to female 12 years ago. She decided to improve the conditions of other trans women by providing them the opportunity to earn by starting beauty parlor, dance and documentary video production, and started academy to teach them graphics, animation and web-based application. Her organization, Parivartan, meaning change, has 21 branches all over India, and assisted 57 trans women. The collective turnover of all branches has just crossed ₹3 crore this year. The announcer continued, her work was not fitting in any of our existing categories, so the sponsoring agency decided to add this new category from this year. I request Ms. Pallavi to come on stage and accept the award. Pallavi got up and with smiling face, went to receive the award. She was happy, but more than that, she was satisfied with the recognition she received for her hard work over the past many years. She said, I thank panel members of jury and sponsoring agency for honoring me with this award in recognition of work done by my team. She continued, when I got my sex changed about 12 years ago, there was almost no opportunity of earning respectfully was available for a person like me, who were not accepted by the society. We are special, and those who have undergone sex change operations under medically approved doctors are medically and legally women, and we are termed as trans women. Pallavi was being awarded the Woman of the Year award under a special category. It was now her chance to tell this world about her wonderful journey and achievements. Women like us really get support willingly by families, so most of us work in dance club per bar, and some, when they have no other choice, ultimately go into flesh trade. In a way, I am lucky that I got good education, early training in classical dance, beauty parlor, and I had some professional experience in contacts in advertising company. Lastly, but most important, is the support provided to me by my mother, my Masi, mother's sister, my wife Alka. When I was male, a few friends and my boss who was a well-wisher and is now my husband Yogesh. During my transition period from male to female journey, we discussed and charted out plan of action that I am going to start an organization to help in a meaningful way to trans women, eunuchs, and cross-dressers so that they can live with respect and dignity. Initially there were few obstacles, but by God's grace and help of my well-wishers, we overcame them and steadily progressed. Pallavi began to speak about her journey as a special woman. I want to inform everyone here that most of us are educated, warm-hearted, sensitive, trustworthy, and there is nothing to fear about us. I request you to understand and accept us. At this special occasion, I want to inform you that since last 5 years, we have been giving medical counseling services in the area of sexual minorities. In near future, we are planning to start a courier service and online training for entrepreneurship. Our beauty parlor will be extended to fitness center including gym, nutritional advices, yoga and meditation. I lastly request you that if there is any member in your family who is showing any sort of sexual deviation, please don't get angry. Don't scold. Don't feel guilty or ask questions like what and where have I gone wrong. But consult with qualified medical practitioner. It will be good for all of you. Understand and help that family member. She needs your love, affection and support. Thank you once again to all of you for allowing me to express and talk about me and people like us. Pallavi returned to her seat. Yogesh was very happy about her short but effective speech. At 9:30, the function was over, followed by dinner. Many came up to Pallavi, congratulated her for courageous decision and praised her work. When they were about to leave, Nandini, a young woman, came to her and very politely introduced her that she is a journalist and want to take her interview at Pallavi's convenience. A young journalist, Nandini, came up to Pallavi. She wanted to take Pallavi's interview. Pallavi agreed and invited Nandini to see her after 3 days at her residence. Pallavi suggested her to visit her website before coming to interview. The interview. Pallavi has invited Nandini, a journalist, at her home. Nandini wants to know the story of Pallavi's journey. On Friday night at around 9:30 p.m., Pallavi's mobile rang up. She saw it was Nandini, the journalist who wanted to interview her. Pallavi decided to pick up the phone. Pallavi: hello Nandini. How are you? Nandini: I am fine. Pallavi: thank you very much. I called to check if we can meet tomorrow evening. Pallavi: oh, why not? Did you get a chance to go through my website? Nandini: that's great, Pallavi. And yes, I saw your website. Really, very informative, and you have roped in quite big names as medical consultants. I had no idea that there can be so many different types of consultants in the field of sexual behavior. Thanks for creating such a valuable website. Pallavi: this is the need of the time, Nandini. I tried and got support. So, when do you wish to come tomorrow? Nandini: around 6 p.m. Pallavi: I will return around 7:30 p.m. Is it convenient for you to come around 8 p.m.? We will eat dinner together and then discuss the matter. Nandini: thanks for the dinner invitation, but I will have dinner at my place and come to see you around 9 p.m., if that works for you. Pallavi: please don't feel shy. We are having dinner together and don't change your program. Nandini: okay. I will come at 8 p.m. Are you sure you will be ready by that time? Or should I come a little later? Pallavi: keep it 8 p.m. Good night. Nandini: good night. Pallavi came home around 6:45. She asked Sudha, her cook, to make tea and bring biscuits along with it. Pallavi, Sudha, is dinner going to be ready by 8? Sudha, surely, Pallavi. Sudha brought tea and biscuits for Pallavi. She ate some, and went to bathroom to take shower to re-energize her for the interview. She put on orange color salwar kameez and looked at the clock. It was only 7:30. She still had some time in hand. She picked up a magazine titled Humanoscope and started reading it. At 8:15 p.m., the doorbell rang. Pallavi got up to open the door. She saw Nandini, greeted her warmly, led her to drawing room and made her sit comfortably on sofa near her chair. After the initial formal greeting exchanges, she asked Nandini, "Should we eat dinner first, or you prefer to eat late?" "Nandini, is it okay for you if we eat after 9:30 p.m. Pallavi, "I have no problem. But it would be better to eat now as my help Sudha wants to go for a movie show at 10 p.m. Nandini, "Okay, we can eat now." Pallavi, "Sudha, can you please set the table for our dinner?" They finished dinner. Pallavi took Nandini to her room, instead of drawing room, where they can talk in peace without being bothered by Pallavi's young daughter or by her husband Yogesh watching television. Both were comfortably seated in Pallavi's room. "Pallavi, how have you planned to go about my story?" "Nandini, I have made no plan at all. Tell me in your natural way, whatever comes in your mind. Please don't worry about the time sequence now, we can revise it at later stage. I will take notes and ask in between, if needed. If you give permission, I will also record it on tape recorder." Pallavi, "I have no objection. It may be helpful to get into more details if required. Please, give me a few minutes so that I can make a list of main stages of my life. This is my first interview and I thought you will ask me questions which will chart our course of discussion. So, I am not really prepared. But I was thinking of writing my autobiography and I have some initial outlines. Let me find out those. It may be of some help." Pallavi gave Nandini a few magazines to go through in the meantime. In about 15 minutes Pallavi came back. Nandini opened the diary in hand and also started the tape recorder. "Pallavi, I would prefer to describe the events in my life in a chronological sequence. Let's see, what do I have in my list?" She checks the paper in her hand. "Okay, I am ready with my list." Pallavi, "The first important phase of my life was my childhood with my parents before I visited my Nina Masi, my mother's sister. Then came the phase when I had Nina Masi in my life. I went to her place to study for my school and college. After that, I was in the USA for a while. Believe it or not, I then got married to a wonderful woman named Alka. It was with her support, I managed to prepare for my sex change operation. And after that, I started my journey to help others like me through my NGO. It is around the same time, I became a mother when my daughter was born. This is probably the most beautiful phase of my life. So, tell me, what would you like to talk about first?" Pallavi gave the piece of paper with her list to Nandini. Nandini looked at the list trying to figure out where she should start the interview. "Nandini, why don't we start with your childhood before you visited your Nina Masi, mother's sister?" Pallavi, the story of Pallavi's childhood as a male kid and her early fascination towards Feminishi. Pallavi and the journalist Nandini were seated comfortably. Nandini was all set to record the story of Pallavi, a pioneer trans woman in this country. Pallavi, a confident woman now, had recently received the Woman of the Year award. She looked content in her red salwar kameez. She straightened her dupatta and crossed her legs. Nandini turned on the tape recorder and gave a green signal to Pallavi to narrate her story. Pallavi smiled and began narrating her story. I was born Pratik, a male child to my parents. I was the second child with one elder sister. In those days, we were living in Gandevi, a village near Navsari city, in Gujarat state. My father was an excise inspector for rural range of Navsari, a highly respected person in our village. We are Brahmin. My both the parents are religious-minded and believed in astrology. You will be surprised to know that the astrologer told my parents that they can't have a male child, and even if a son is born out of some good fate, he will become a woman after the age of 20 years. This wasn't a good news for my parents. Thus, my mother Gayatri asked the astrologer if there was any way to prevent it from happening. Astrologer replied to my mother that it is not possible to prevent this from happening. You may try raising your son as a girl until the age of 20. And after some religious ceremony, there is a chance that your son will remain a son after that age. I do not guarantee that it might work, but that's your best chance. My father Kantilal did not like the idea of raising his unborn son as a girl. He replied to the astrologer that we will raise him as boy only and we will keep a strict watch on him that he does not show any womanly behavior and we will not allow it at any cost. I will not allow my wife to raise him as girl at all. When I was born, my father asked doctor to check properly my gender and he confirmed that I am a male child. Before I even started my school, I was already showing my interest in femininity. I used to ask my mother that I want to wear clothes like my sisters. When my mom told this to my father, he would strictly say no. They made sure that I slept under the watch of my father at night, and during the day, I was forced to play and mix only with boys. I do not correctly remember my age at the time, but I vaguely remember that my father was away from home for some time. And at that time, I would not stop crying at night until I wore my sister's clothes. My mother had to do that to keep me from crying. It continued till my father returned back to home, and nobody knew about it. From then onward, whenever I insisted and if we were alone, my mother would let me wear my sister's clothes. Seeing me adamant at my choice of clothes, she somehow managed to get a frock for me that will fit me properly. Secretly, she allowed me to put on a frock whenever we got the chance. When I started going to school, one day I had gone to my sister's girlfriend Nidhi along with my sister Kamal. I really liked Nidhi's frocks. I told my sister Kamal that I want to wear her frock. Kamal told me that I am a boy and I cannot wear a girl's frock. Listening to her, Nidhi interrupted Kamal and said, "What's the harm, dear? Let him wear it. He is not going to become a girl overnight by wearing a frock." You have no idea how happy I was wearing a frock that day in the presence of two other girls. Nidhi told me that I looked really good in that. We played for some time, and I removed Nidhi's frock and came back. At night my sister Kamal told my father about the incident. "Bapuji, father, Pratik wore a frock today and he was really looking like a good girl." My father listened to her, and asked her to leave the room. At night, when I went to the room for sleeping, my father asked me if I wore a frock at Nidhi's home today. I said happily, "Yes Bapuji." We used to call our father Bapuji, meaning father in Gujarati language. My father got up and slapped me on left cheek very harshly and said if you wear again in future at any time, he will beat me more and punish also. He called my mother and told her everything. He asked her to see that I must not wear girl's dress. anytime in future at any cost. After some days, Nidhi once again asked my sister Kamal to bring me with her to Nidhi's home. It was the time Navratri, the most festive occasion in Gujarat. Kamal took me to Nidhi's home along with her. I was really excited to be at Nidhi's home. And imagine my happiness when Nidhi took out nice skirt and top for me. She gave me that to wear for that evening, though Kamal tried to prevent her. Nidhi told Kamal that there is nothing wrong in letting me enjoy to be a girl for a little while. She put on bangles on my both hands. I was so happy that day. In fact, Nidhi was the first one to give me my name, Pallavi. From that day, she decided to call me Pallavi whenever I would dress up as a girl. But Kamal requested her not to do this to me anymore, or she will never bring me to her home. Last time, I got slapped from our father. And Kamal didn't know what punishment my father would give me this time. She said, I love my brother Pratik very much, and I do not want him to suffer in any way. Nidhi understood her concern, and promised to Kamal that she won't do this again in future. After a little while, we came back home. When we reached home, Kamal looked around to see if our father was there. She could not find him. She felt relaxed and began to tell her mother what happened at Nidhi's home. But just when she was finished talking to mom, she saw that our father was standing at the door. She shivered, afraid of our father. My father called me in the room. Once again, he slapped me, but this time on both the cheeks and several times. He was really hard on me and his fingers left an impression on my cheeks. He was very angry and shouted at all of us and went to sleep without taking food. We were all shocked. My mother asked my father, "Are you going to kill my son if he continue to demand wearing girl's dress?" Father replied, "Gayatri, please try to understand. If we let him dress like this, his desire to dress will become stronger and we will lose him. He must be controlled at any cost." Such episodes were recurring, and every time my father came to know about it, he would beat me, insult me, and punish in different ways. But I insisted more and more. I always wanted to dress up in a girl's dress. My mother was helpless, though she was willing to satisfy my desire. Even my sister Kamal was against my father's ill treatment to me but could not do anything. When I gave my annual exam of 4th standard, one day my father at dining table asked if Pratik wants to go to Nina Masi's place during summer vacation with mother. Mother asked, "Who else will come?" Father said, "All three of you can go there." My sister Kamal said, "I do not want to go there. I plan on taking a summer class this year." Father said, "Okay. Kamal, you can stay with me, and Pratik will go with your mother." At night I asked my mother to please keep all my 3 girls' dresses. If Masi allowed it, I would want to wear those clothes. Mother was fine with my request. After 3 days, both of us reached at Nina Masi's home. And we were warmly greeted. Pallavi, Summer Vacation with Nina Masi. The story of Pallavi's childhood as a male kid when he met his Nina Masi for the summer vacation. Pallavi continued with the narration of her story, how she met her Nina Masi as a male kid. When I arrived at Nina Masi, mother's sister, along with my mother Gayatri, Nina Masi was there to welcome us. She called her housemaid Tej to take our luggage and put in a room that was set up for us. It was a 2 BHK house, and my mother and I got a room to live together. Nina Masi was separated from her husband due to some marital problems between them. She had started to work with some magazine as a freelance writer. Her only son had went to USA right after SSC, an year ago. She seemed to be A warm woman, and I instantly began to like her. Few days at Masi's place went without any worthwhile happening. We used to go to meet some of our relatives, and occasionally we would visit some garden or a market. Nina Masi was in the habit of reading and gardening. Mother told me that Nina Masi knows many people, and many relatives and friends come to her for advice or help. Mother used to allow me to dress up at night when we were alone. One night when I was dressed up, I told Mother, I want to go and see Masi like this. Somehow, I felt that my Masi would not mind it. My mom was a little hesitant, but I ran to Masi's room without waiting for her answer. Masi was busy reading and she did not notice me. So, I went up to her, nudged her hand and asked her, "How do I look, Masi?" Masi, "Oh, what do we have here? Let me see you properly, girl. You look good, but you can look so much better. What is your name, girl?" My name is Pallavi, Masi. Masi, okay, I will also call you Pallavi. But why are you wearing a girl's dress? Masi, I want to be a girl. Masi, but beta, you are a boy. You know, if you want, you can take part in cultural programs where you can dress like a girl and participate as a woman. Masi, I want to be a real girl. Masi, Pallavi, we will do one thing. You are too young now, so you can wear these clothes. And I will find out how you can become a good girl when you grow up. Is it fine? Yes, Masi. I am very happy now. My mother was listening our conversation from behind the doors and she stepped in. She sat near Masi and started crying. Masi gave her a warm hug and asked her to stop crying and tell me what is all this about. My mom asked me to go to the bedroom, and then she told everything to my Masi. Masi called me and said, "Pallavi, you have nothing to fear about. Live in this house as a girl as you like. I will find out what we can do about your desires." That night I slept peacefully in my girl's dress. Next morning when I got up and when we were eating lunch, Masi said to us, "Get ready by 6 in the evening. We all will go out." That day, Masi went to her office. She talked to one of her doctor friend Jyoti and discussed everything about me. Jyoti told her, "Nina, I am not an expert on this subject, but as a gynecologist I know so many cases like this. I feel if you satisfy his desire at this stage willingly and accept him, there is every chance that Pratik will become normal. Due to the variety of clothes, jewelry, hairstyles, makeup etc., many male kids wish to try female clothes etc. Just accept him and remember one thing, when he is dressed as girl call him as Pallavi only. Try till he is here in vacation. And if things do not improve, we will see what can be done in future." Masi returned home around 5, got fresh and got ready for going out. She called me and asked if I like long hair or short hair. I replied, "Long hair." She said okay and called my mother Gayatri to check if she is ready. All of us first went to a garden and then went for shopping. She chose a few dresses for me, bangles of my size, payal, bindi, clip-on earrings, makeup kits, undergarments, long and shoulder-length wigs and chappals. She also purchased a few tattoos to stick as mehendi. We returned home after taking a dinner at hotel around 9:30. Masi called Tej and told her to prepare me as girl and bring me to her. From now we will call Pratik as Pallavi only, and if he wishes, he can be a girl for all 24 hours a day. Tej did as she was told and brought me to Masi. Mother was also sitting there. Both happily said that I look like a real girl. Masi told me to play either with Tej or see TV and went to her room. Mother kissed me and wished me that our family members should try to understand you and give permission. During whole summer, I almost lived as girl. Masi also called one of her best friend Kriti and told her to bring her daughter Piyu to play with me. We soon became good friends, and once she called me to come to her home dressed as girl. I went there and enjoyed very much the company of her friends. I never knew how the vacation got over so quickly, and it was time to return to my village to continue study. When the actual day of departure came, Masi told me not to wear girl's dress at your home, and she will convince my father to send me to Surat as education here is good. And then we will see what to do. She removed all my girly stuff from my bag. Finally my father came with my sister Kamal to pick us up, and we started for my village. Masi said to my father, I have a suggestion that the education here in Surat is much better than at Gandevi. So why not send Pratik here to study further? I will take his full responsibilities.